we are live, on time, on point, coming free of charge. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 226th live edition, a long time coming, highly anticipated, never duplicated, also unappreciated, Not About You program. You can't see me.
Do your thing.
Not About You program, the only program featuring Nichols, Standard, Pink Compensated Townsend, William Bishop, Blake Everett, State Full Mediator, Motivators, third round draft pick, name later, 3 people, 2 attempts, 1 dream, broadcasting's finest train wreck. Enough about you is Coin Media presentation associated with YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Anchor FM. Get us from every coast to every coast. And now here he is. He's a Discord partner.
We should take a break before we start, actually.
He is a world-class streamer.
Hi.
And he is my friend, Mr. William Bishop. How you doing?
I'm also sleepy. I slept for 12 hours today.
You're a black belt in sleep.
Dude, I'll mess you up
straight
and
up.
fight me. 1v1 me in sleep.
1v1 me in sleep, man.
I'll sleep so hard.
Yeah, it's good. Sleeping's good, man.
Is it good? I don't know.
It's very, very healthy.
I think depressed sleeping is not good, to be honest with you. I think sleeping just because you don't want to be awake is not good.
I don't know, man. I'm on the opposite end of that. I got shit to do is what I got, and I'm up all the time. I got stuff to do, man.
Well, I think you're in a better spot than me, to be honest. Having stuff to do.
I get too much to do, and not enough.
You have too much stability in your life is your problem. You need to reduce the amount of stability that you have. All right.
F that, man. F that. I don't sleep well enough as it is, man. Yeah. So I went out. So here's what I'm gonna do. So I went on vacation, and I was away for exactly 7 days. Like I left super early on Sunday
for you to be away.
And I left. I came back late Saturday. So it was pretty much a full 7 days, no flying. It was all driving, and it was all cheap hotels.
Can we refer to flying as tube of death from now on?
I'll be damned, man. So my mother in this post-COVID world, her doctor said that they were talking about flying and communications, whatever. She recovered from breast cancer. She's getting all good reports. She's been clean 5 years, which is a great milestone. She was clean. She got good report.
Heroin?
I think it was 5 years from
cancer.
Cancer. In November, I think was her 5 year. Once you hit 5 years clean, then like that's big time. Like you're done.
Huh.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's a milestone if you're done for 5 years. So she hit that in November. She does have now twice a year follow-ups now instead of monthly follow-ups, right? And she was talking with her doctor, and her doctor said, her doctor just casually mentioned, well, I've flown 4 times since March. And she went, what? You've flown?
Right.
And like that's between her last appointment was late July or early July and early March. He says, I've flown 4 times. And he said, Nana, that's what we call Nana. Nana, it is flying right now is the best. And she said, what do you mean? And she said, number 1, there's nobody there. Number 2, there is always an empty seat next to you. So you are not crammed into each other.
The air filtration is I don't care how close I am.
Number 3,
it's not going to help.
Number 3, masks are required.
Sure, yeah.
Number 4 is when, and you will immediately have a visual on this one. When you are stopped at the gate and you're ready to disembark, and everybody stands up at the same time, you are not allowed to stand up at the same time. No. It is 1 row stands up. That way, the row C does not breathe down on row B. No one is standing up and breathing down on everybody. They said they have put a couple of extra filtration things in the filters for all the planes, which who knows if that's will work or not. But her doctor said flying is better than it has ever been, and it is very orderly when you get off now. Now it's no longer, excuse me, pardon me. It is.
I've complained about this.
And it is row by row by row, and they get you out of there. Yeah, it's procedure now. Okay. There is a POC for, there's a SOP. Sorry, SOP for getting off the
piece
plane.
of crap.
POC, POS. Right.
Okay.
So we did not fly. We drove, and we drove. Most of our time was spent in Colorado, and which is where the mountains are. We went off to see the mountains. Just thinking, I was talking with my chat today. The U.S. is pretty awesome in terms of geography. Like you go to another country, that country may have one thing that is really cool geographically, right? A cool beach is, or say something in Europe may have a cool mountain range, right? Or it may have a cool forest or a Nido desert. The U.S. has all of this.
Countries in other places are like states.
Yes, all of these things are located. So you can get to a really cool beach, you can get to a really cool mountain range, you can get to a really cool forest, you can get to really cool waterfalls, you can get to all of those sorts of things, right? So we chose to go to the mountains where it was a little bit cheaper. I did kind of pay attention to the behavior of the Coloradans to see if they were rebelling against the masks and all of that business. I am here to firsthand report that largely everyone was wearing masks. Everywhere I saw, I went to tourist places, I went to nature places where they were spread out. We went to fast food restaurants, and we went to a couple of stores like CVS or Walgreens, pick up whatever we need, like extra toothpaste or whatever it is. By and large, not only were all the workers wearing masks, the patrons were wearing masks everywhere in Colorado. Every single store had mask required on the outset. Every hotel, every McDo's, every Walgreens, CVS, every grocery store, every single place we walked in. And it even had a governor's executive order number 12345. Mm-hmm. Governor Polis, Polis, I think, is governor of Colorado. Executive order, mask up. Elevators were only no more than 3 people in the elevator, or
really?
one party or a family. So if you had 4 kids, if it was like us, we have 2 and 2 adults, two youngsters, a daughter and a daughter and son.
Just left Ash behind. You can't get in, Ash.
Right.
Take the stairs, knobhead.
All part of the same family, you can get in. If you're living together and driving together, you can get in. But otherwise, only 3 people. And by and large, all of that happened. I stayed every single hotel because it was a known. Badger and I stay together at a Holiday Inn Express every single city we go to.
Frequently, yeah. Holiday Inn is kind of our go-to.
Is number 1, cheap. Right down the number 2, clean, right down the middle, no frills. Like, we are not paying for the view because Badger and I are out the door and we are hustling. Yeah, it's a sleeping area and a shower. That's it. And essentially, it is moving, right? It is moving out the door. Meow.
I need to go feed these nerds. I'll be back.
You want to feed them? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so the best thing about the Holiday Inn is the free breakfast in the morning. The free breakfast is kind of shitty, but it is there, and it is sustenance. They give you some pork, sausage, turkey sausage almost every day. Give you a choice. They'll also there's usually some sort of omelet. And then your choice of like a bagel, an English muffin, biscuits, cinnamon roll, whatever, a pretty extensive bread and cereal. And then one of the things that I dig about it the most is the yogurt in the morning. They have a fridge that's just a little mini fridge, like a 3-foot fridge. And in that thing, they have a bunch of yogurts and milks and 2% full whole milk, low fat skim, and 2 different types of yogurt, like just about everything you can do. Chocolate milk they have in there. And then they have fruit drinks from the tap, like apple juice, cranberry juice, and whatever juice, orange juice. And then they have an assortment of fruit, like a bowl of apples, bowl of oranges, bowl of bananas. So it's like a complete nice little breakfast, pretty cheap, etc. It's pretty good. I will, once Badge gets back on, I'll tell you one disappointment, and he will immediately know why I'm disappointed. Also, they have a pancake maker that you can pour your own batter in, and you can watch it. It goes up a little conveyor belt, and it spits out the pancake out the other side, a bunch of syrups and all that. It's 6 out of 10 quality. But then also free coffee. I tweeted about this free coffee. And Badger and I were, every single morning, we looked forward to that cup of coffee that we could grab and get out of there. The issue, though, is if you're paying, say, $100 for a hotel and you don't get free coffee, then rolling out to a Starbucks is immediately $105, $110, maybe $115 by the time you get whatever it is you need to get. Plus, it's longer, takes longer. Plus, if all you're getting is a straight coffee, then you can refill, you can do your thing, you can get it how you want it and get out there. The only thing is, the thing that we ended up, that Badger and I really did look forward to getting our day started was whatever kind of egg protein and all that business we had, plus that free coffee in the morning was like, yes, let's get that shit done, right?
Just
all good.
Breakfast in the morning, keeps me up.
Yeah, it was good. And
depends when we go to bed.
My favorite, freaking the yogurt. And by the way, 2 of the hotels we had, out of yogurt. Oh,
That's
I was
not good.
That was not good
Yogurt's
at all.
good for your tum-tum.
Yeah, and I would have 1 or 2 yogurts before we hit the road every morning. Me and whether it was in Colorado or me and Badger at a convention.
Breakfast is important, man. Most important meal of the day for me.
So I have some
every
stuff about.
For me, though.
I have some normal vacation stuff to unpack for you, Badger. I've got
normal vacation.
The Great Sand Dunes, which was the adventure, and where Dad went all athlete on everybody, and I took control of the situation.
Yeah.
And then I have a spiritual experience, of which you personally came up in my thoughts.
Oh, sweet.
And I
should be in everyone's thoughts always anyway, so so it's not really surprising when I came in. I'm just here. Was I charismatic and intense?
I had a list. So let's do. Okay, so I sent you a directory. So let's look at the Creed stuff first.
The Creed.
We're not necessarily gonna go in chronological order. We're just gonna go in kind of show content order. And then we'll kind of jump around a little bit. So we went to a town called Creed, Colorado, Creede, and it's an old abandoned silver mine. And silver mine, what I learned about Creed, it's this tiny ass town, and it is basically the floor of PAX East was as big as this town.
Wow, jeez. Where was this in Colorado in relation to Denver?
So, south of Denver is Colorado Springs.
Mm-hmm.
Then you head west of Colorado Springs, you hit Alamosa, 2 hours.
Okay.
And then another hour west of Alamosa is Creed.
Okay, I see why you guys went here, because there's a bunch of stuff to see around Creed. Okay, and you were driving too.
We spent most of our time in Colorado Springs because there was Garden of the Gods, there's Cave of the Winds,
there's a bunch of stuff down there.
Red Rock Canyon, like all of that stuff south of Denver. We never did go up into Denver, up another mile into the clouds to Denver. Because from Colorado Springs, you start driving north, it's pretty much straight north, and it's pretty much straight up.
Elevation increases. Yeah.
Elevation increases big time, right? But we never did go up to Denver or Boulder. We spent most of our time around between 6,000 feet above sea level and 9,000 feet above sea level. So we were still in the altitude. So any sort of hiking we did was it was.
Were you having
a little?
Did you have any altitude?
It was a thing.
God, sickness?
No altitude sickness. No. The wife as a nurse was all over about that. Like, look, make sure everybody talk about this. Nausea, vomiting, all that stuff.
Altitude sickness is super sneaky. Is the thing.
It is sneaky. That's what she was saying. She said we need to make sure that we talk about our symptoms that we have and all that business. But none of that. So Creed is basically a silver mine. The town itself and all of its proper stuff with all the stores, all the gas station, all the souvenirs, the general store.
3-box?
Yes, maybe. And a school was in there. Those poor kids, I bet you they are just dying to get out of this small ass town. Especially with the internet being there. They're going, these people have what? I'm out of here, right?
The bad thing about that is that they've been with those same students that they're learning with forever.
All their life.
Forever.
Yes.
Right, forever.
And here's the thing that got me. I didn't take a picture of this, but as we were driving into Creed, okay, there were banners that said Creed Senior. and it was a picture, a full color picture banner hanging off a telephone pole of a Creed senior who was graduating, who had graduated.
Of an individual student?
Of an individual student. And as we came in, we saw, Bet, there were probably 5 of them. They probably graduated a whole class of 5.
Of 5? That's wild.
Because we saw repeats. That's how I know it was
there were
no
so
more than 5.
few.
There was so few. We saw repeats, and it was like Sherry Smith or something, and she's all going, hey, senior picture, and it's like class of 2020 or whatever, and she's senior, Creed senior, and there was 5 of them, man.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, and so tiny ass town, right? Basically centered around the gift shop, and that's where they want to funnel. They funnel you. The cool part is if you scroll through a couple of these pictures, that the Creed pictures, that is the old railroad that went in and out of this town. The railroad is pretty much decrepit, but that was where people climbed up and hung out. Yeah, that second picture with all of it looks like a damn roller coaster, like a wooden roller coaster.
It does. It looks safe either.
Bro, no regard for human life and human safety in this town. And anything in the miners. Back in the day, we did a mine tour. We paid like $20 a head to get down to this mine. It was super, super interesting. And they gave 0 figs about miner lives and miner safety. And only in, say, the 90s did they really have some decent equipment to prevent cave-ins, to look at airflow, to look at sound protection, lung and dust protection.
I mean, that's the lung thing is going to be rough.
And they actually had a machine that before they had water drilling, that just basically was super loud, and it would go and it would bore holes in the rock.
Everything that makes noise, Blake, makes that noise to you.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
The lawnmower, the miner thing,
everything is
the
machine guns,
the pizza can. Yeah, the 249. Yeah, right. It's all the same thing.
Sorry, I just had to point that out. I've been hanging out with this guy a lot. All right.
Yeah. So what they do is they don't really drill out the miner as if you were drilling, as if you were playing Space Engineers. It's not a boring machine that goes through. What they do is they have these little thin little drillers that are maybe the barrel of a suppressed sniper rifle. Oh, no. Okay, right there. Your microphone width. It's about yay big. Yeah, about as width as your microphone. And they drill holes, and then they shove dynamite in there, and then they blow up the rest of it. Okay?
Yeah, sure. So that's how you dig some stuff. If you're serious
right.
about digging, you blow it up.
Yeah, you blow it up, right. And hearing protection inside the mine, there's just stuff going off all the time.
You got your fingers. You got your fingers, all right? Stick them in there. Put some cotton in those suckers.
Bite down on a piece of wood or something.
Yeah, exactly. You'll be all right. What's the worst that's going to happen? You won't be able to hear anymore? You won't be able to hear your wife complain at you about how deaf you are?
The things that they would drill the holes with, it used to be 2 dudes, one with a stake and the other one with a giant hammer. Then they got into machinery. Then they got into air machinery. But basically, it would cough up all this dust. And they called their first automated one the Widowmaker, because within a year, the guy would be coughing up blood and probably dead.
That's what I want to have happen to me. I just want to breathe in so much debris that it cuts my lungs up so badly that I can no longer appropriately breathe. I'm all for that. How many dollars an hour? $3 an hour? Let's do it.
280. It was 260, 280. Holy crap, man! The mining industry. What today I learned the mining industry gives 0 figs about miner safety. They are super interested in the equipment, right? They had all kinds of like locks and all kinds of procedures about the equipment. They had 0 procedures for the miners. And it was like it's recent days before any sort of OSHA stuff came in, way later than you would think.
Sometimes it's surprising how little regard we gave to human life 20 years ago.
20 years. Yeah. So in the 80s, seatbelt law happened, and there was upheaval, right? Sometime in the early 80s, right? Seatbelts.
It's good that you mentioned the upheaval. You know,
yes.
You're requiring me to my rights.
My freedom. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. The mask. We're fast forward, and we're doing the same thing about the masks, right? We are.
It's culture, man.
It's culture, right? And so think about this. 10 years after, say 82 was a seatbelt law, then they started really putting in some decent stuff for minors. It was around in the 90s, man. Like internet was kind of on its way. Like it was just, internet was starting. In
a couple of years, I was playing BattleNet with my friends on StarCraft.
And then they said, "Oh, we need to protect these minors."
Is me dialing up into the
free and independent press, man.
Get off the phone!
Yeah,
I'm trying to play StarCraft. God, it was the most. It was such an like an amazing feeling to not have to have the phone not be used.
Yes. Yeah. No
you know
phone.
What kids? So I love this.
DSL,
kids nowadays
amazing,
will never
right?
know the feeling of calling their girlfriend and their dad picking up.
Yeah. DSL was amazing when it happened. Like, oh, DSL, it's it.
That's what I'm complaining about that. I don't know. It popped in my head.
So this silver mine was super interesting. We got the tour was from a guy. Like this guy will not last. Most of it's done by machinery. Like Elon Musk, he doesn't have miners anymore. He has machine operators that basically drive a giant tube thing drilling.
I'm pretty sure Elon was with Epstein, so he probably had some miners.
Wah, wah. That actually came up in conversation with the wife on the way.
Did it?
Here. Yeah. We had great discussion.
Sorry,
there was nothing else. There was nothing else to do, so I did actually have to talk to the wife. So it was.
Was it Prince Henry that's in trouble right now?
Andrew.
Apparently,
Andrew and Clinton are in the hot seat.
So I read a little bit about Clinton, but I'm not surprising. Okay.
Yeah. It's like oh. No way.
Really?
No.
Are you sure?
Are you sure?
Bill Clinton? The Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton? That guy? No. Anyway, so the guy that did that gave us our tour, it was like an hour tour. It was great. He was an actual miner who he had some damage. This guy I think he was in his 60s. It was rough for him. Like he ain't got too many years left. His body has been abused.
He was the tour guy though.
He was a tour guide.
Can you sue for them just being negligent, or did you have to sign like a contract?
Companies are probably gone and bought up by now.
Point.
Like so the companies that he worked for, he's probably just screwed, man. But let me just say, if this was not underground, if the conditions for miners were more visible, say like if you're a construction site, or if you were an industry that people drove by and could easily see or record video of, then the press would be way more like, hey, what's going on with it? Like, okay,
why?
The regulations on, say, high-rise building window washers. I'm sure as soon as the first few did that, there was somebody started taking pictures of it. Why is this guy have a
safety harness on?
What's going on with the harness? Why is he getting blown around in the wind so bad? Why doesn't he have a hard hat? What are the 4 things that are going to keep him from falling? Meanwhile, he is not pulling necessary metals that we need to live and advance as a society out of the ground. Like, so he's cleaning a damn window, and we have all the safety regulations around it. These miners are pulling out, basically, they are pulling out the wealth of the states, of their precious metals between say 1950 and 1970, tons and tons and tons of precious metals, not just gold and silver, but like copper, tons and tons of copper that's needed for circuitry, all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff that is being sorted, and this is stuff that is going to help the U.S. advance, right? As a culture, and as a society, as a technological and war making power.
Which we've been at the forefront for a really long time, and so you could easily say that those workers are very essential, right?
Right. It was super essential stuff, and no regard for minor safety. Way more regard for equipment safety.
I like this as your takeaway from your vacation.
Not the press. The press wasn't in charge. The mining company was in charge. And much like the Army treats you almost the same as a Jeep. You are a piece of equipment, and you have X amount of money invested in you, so therefore you are protected thusly. Doc that we had on 2 weeks ago, we have way more money invested in him. He ain't going to the front. He's way in the back. He's way in the back.
That's what I told you. Doc, you cannot come to the front. You're not allowed.
You're not allowed.
Like, it's part of my training to understand that the asset is, I mean, he's expensive, right?
And you're an asset.
Right.
It's exactly like that. It is exactly like that. And miners, it was a low skill job. You could train some greenhorns up in about a week or two. Have another one, right?
And it's sad because they're kind of stuck there in the town. You know, their whole family's there. They don't want to leave necessarily.
Right. It was really, really cool to see all of this and in Creed. If you happen to be in Colorado, that's worth the tour, and it's worth going to see. It's worth going to see
$20 a head to get in there.
Of this small
How
town.
long was the tour?
What's that?
How long was the tour?
It was an hour 15 or so.
Oh, okay.
And we were walking down through tunnels and all that other stuff.
Enjoyable, probably.
What's that?
It's like a movie ticket, but actually enjoyable.
It was good. Yeah, it was really good. This right here, this next one there's called a Bachelor Loop, and this is one that was a super dangerous Trek 2 drive. I had to go super slow, and I'm glad I brought my SUV up there. Otherwise, I would have been stuck. And you basically make this big loop. I don't know why it's called Bachelor Loop, but you basically go up into the mountains, get all these cool views. The road, it's a two-way road, and it is this skinny. So if there's another car coming, you got to figure it out, bro. Like, I don't know. There was not really no markings, no nothing, but it was a very popular drive, and they said you could do it either way. If you don't have, there's a couple of steep parts, and what they recommended was, if you don't have a four-wheel drive, do this other one where you go up into the mountains with a very low grade. It takes you longer, and then the steep part, make that you're coming down. So they said drive it backwards if you don't have a 4x4. If you do, then take it the front way. That way, because you can climb that steep grade instead of go down the steep grade. And these
drives are very dangerous, not just because the road conditions are narrow and stuff like that, but actually there's a big problem with rocks falling and hitting the road because of the deterioration. So you could just get crushed to death driving. Yes. No fault of your own, no issue.
We saw a rock slide that had just happened because it was raining. So you can see the weather in that picture. Very cloudy. It had rained earlier that day. It had rained hard, and we saw on our bachelor loop. We saw several rocks that were in the middle of the road that did not look like they belonged there.
Okay.
And so
had they been falling off the hill and hit the car on the way down, right?
Bam! Like
roasted.
Yes.
Done.
So we got out and rolled a couple of rocks off so it wouldn't damage other cars. Yeah.
Oh, nice, cool.
But we were good citizens, right? And we did a thing.
Colorado kind of inspires you to be as such, to be a good citizen.
Yeah, but I mean, you've seen me do good citizenry for no reason on all of our trips, right?
Sure, yeah.
I default to.
I have an issue with trash
citizen.
on this. If there's trash around, I'll probably pick it up. That's my good.
But okay, so the one where you said, "Hey, that's not your job," was, remember the Boston, the door that I was trying to fix? It was a door to the subway. And I was reaching up there. I took a minute, and I was trying to.
That sounds like something. We were at work, though. Okay.
Yeah, we were. And you said, "Hey, Blake." You said, "Hey, that's not your job." And I said, "No. I'm a good citizen. I'm gonna try and fix this if I can."
I think I remember you saying to me, "I'm a good citizen."
Yeah.
I don't remember.
But it was the door that kept slamming to the downstairs of the subway.
I think and it's like right in front of the convention center.
And it was the little pump thing. Yes, it was right across the convention center, and the pump thing was broke. And there was a missing screw, so I was going to get up there and investigate it. Right?
It's not your job.
It's not your
back
job.
Back in formation.
And then back in formation. And I started fixing it, and then you went, "Oh, okay, yeah, all right, I'm down." Like, okay.
I think you actually did fix it, is why I was like, fine.
Right.
No good deed goes unpunished. All right, keep that in mind.
So Creed is recommended. Small little town. I would say hit it. Do the bachelor. Save it for about 3 or 4 hours. Pay for the mining tour. It is exit through the gift shop. They try and get you for pictures and buy some shit for you and buy these cool rocks.
They're
get some
poor
souvenirs.
there, right? It's not going great in Creed, I'm sure. The economic downturn probably hurting them.
They do have lots out there. They had lots out there, like 5 acres for $35,000. So doing the math and with hookups, like with utility, with water and electricity, not that much on the outskirts of Creed. Like you could get some decent property. And the only reason I know that is because on the way to the mine, we were walking and I passed the real estate agent. And they have pictures and pricing up there, right? I did, yeah. That I saw plenty of the steel mesh to try and stop the rock slides. All of that. The ones that do work, they basically had steel girders going down in front of the rocks and going basically. It wasn't even concrete; they were steel posts that blocked the rock slide, and you could tell where behind the steel girder it had filled up with rocks, and so it could have easily got some more and came on over.
I mean, you're fighting against nature.
Thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a definite thing. It's a reality for these people.
Yeah,
like it's yeah.
This is going to happen. You're not going to happen. You're not going to be able to build a wall there to prevent all the rock slides.
Yeah, statistically, it's a matter of just try not to be there when it does. It's not if, it's when it does. Try not to be there and do what you can. But it's a reality for these folks. So that was good. I don't think, are there any? I think there's 4 Creed pictures that I gave. I don't think there's anything else in that series, right? Let me go so I can track along with you. I can actually open those up yet. Get that up. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, so that one is the town of Creed. Like I would say 60% of the town is in that photo, and there is a mountain stream that coalesces right there from when it snows and it melts and it all comes down there. It was raining, so from the mountain it collects down and goes to that stream. They used to have a bunch of mills and stuff hooked up to it, so that as it rolled, you could turn. You could see some of the old stuff. The water, as it came down out of the mountains, it would turn stuff and either do, not power generation, but windmill. It turned a windmill and probably ground some bread back in the day. No, it would turn a mill or something. I don't know what turns, but they had a bunch of the giant Price is Right wheels, right?
A watermill is what you would call this.
I guess a watermill, yeah.
Wind
not a windmill,
usually powers windmills. Watermill tends to power watermill. It's fine.
I guess
it's not a big deal.
But
I'm just saying, if a watermill's powering your windmill, you got problems. There's something wrong. You need to reassess what kind of mill you're using.
Right. Okay, so Creed was cool. That's a small mining town, and my takeaway from that is rock slides are a reality. Mining is freaking dangerous. It always has been. I don't know how recently. Probably Elon Musk put in as many safety features as any of the rest of the companies in America have ever put in, because he's now. I mean, you've seen Elon's boring machine. It's basically machine. You know what a Zamboni is, like the little hockey thing, the hockey thing that smooths it out.
Oh yeah.
Basically, he sticks a giant diamond-tipped driller on the front of a Zamboni and drives that through the underground of California.
Driller for you right here, Blinky Poo.
Yeah, diamond, yeah. Doing some drilling later. All right, go to GOTG, Garden of the Gods. This one was, Garden of the Gods is in the shadow of Pikes Peak. This is in Colorado Springs. And this one was probably the most expensive thing we did. $40 a head was to take a Jeep tour and have some up into the mountains and go a little off-road.
Or you were just in a Jeep with someone driving?
I put in a picture of the Jeep. It's picture number 3 is the Jeep. And this is there's a 2-seater there's a 1-seater in the front for the driver. And then basically the roof of the Jeep is removed. They put a higher canopy on the Jeep and then put bench seating around so they could fit 6 people up there and open sides. So basically those are bench. You can see the bench seats in there. So we rented a Jeep to travel up into there. There's a bunch of cool pictures. You'll see one of a balancing rock, which freaked me out that people were just sitting underneath it like no big deal. It was high winds. And
if it fell, it would crush you so quickly you wouldn't be in pain. So,
or it crushed your leg only because
you'd pass out, you'd just be in shock. You'd be fine. It wouldn't even hurt until after.
There's a picture of me with a mask on, and I'm at the visitor center taking it up with Pikes Peak in the background. I think that's number 7. If you want to hit that. I just put in
nice hat.
Picture number 5 is there you go. That's Pikes Peak. So where we are now, from where that picture was 8,900 feet in the air above sea level. Pikes Peak is 14 something. So it's another mile up.
Just a mile.
That's all.
Just a lot of
air was pretty thin where we were, and then we took a Jeep tour up to I think around, I want to say it was like 10, 5 or 11 something. So we went up pretty good with said Jeep. And then I hit a picture over my shoulder the one with no mask is me taking a picture of two things. It was called Rampart Ridge. Over one shoulder is Colorado Springs. Over the other shoulder is Manitou Springs. One place, Colorado Springs, is affordable. Manitou Springs, you cannot afford it. No one listening to my voice can afford Manitou Springs.
Wow.
It's super touristy. The houses in it, I think I included a couple of pictures of the houses. The houses are freaking amazing. Cajillion dollars. There's several $1 million houses. Cajillion with a K.
A lot of the houses in these areas are.
Yeah. So on picture number 9 in that series is a bunch of rich houses. What they were telling us is there was a fire, and it destroyed like 600 acres. That's me. That's Colorado Springs over that shoulder. And then the other one, I think the next one in that series is the Manitou Springs. And they said they had a 600-acre fire, and the fire department saved all of the $1 million cajillion dollar homes because they were $1 million cajillion dollar homes, because that's your tax base, baby.
Yeah, someone's paying the firefighters.
Someone's paying those firefighters. Yep.
Guess who?
Guess who? Right.
The mayor's breezing down those firefighters' necks. All right.
Like,
where are you going?
Well,
but my house is on fire. I don't care.
I don't care. You want a job? You want a job on Monday? These houses stay here, because if these houses burn, that $2 million coming into our base every year is gone. Right? That's a reality. That happens with police. That happens with firefighters. That happens with all kinds of public service. Is that property needs to be untouched. And what happened in Ferguson, Missouri, the cops kind of let the poor neighborhood kind of burn a little bit, and the cops drew a line at the rich part of St. Louis. Like I have a buddy in St. Louis, and he said, these people pay way more taxes than those people, and that's where our line is.
Capitalism, yay!
It is reality. Now, I'm not saying it's a good thing, bad thing. It is a reality of what happens.
At least there are people to respond.
It is absolutely easier to exist in America if you're rich. That is a thing that is known across the board, whether it's public access to things.
I don't even think this is an American only
legal
thing. I think every country is going to be doing this. But
it's a reality in every country. It's just more apparent in the States. But that is the same thing. They said, and the lady who was giving us the tour up there, she told us the story of the fire. Burned like 600 acres worth of mountainside. And here's the thing: is these people had one road out, and it was on fire. Like everything was on fire. And then the year after, I think their fire was in 2017. I want to say they built another road the next year, so that they now have two ways out, so that they could at least evacuate the people out of there. They built another road. And the other thing is, if it's snowed in, you at least want two routes to get out of there, right? And they said sometimes these people, because they're up in the mountains and because of the hillside, and it is basically one paved road, one lane each direction, sometimes they are iced in and they're snowed in, and that's it. It's just too much. They can't get out.
That ain't great. The big problem with that is not even necessarily just being able to get out, but getting emergency services in there if something happens.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. If a fire breaks out in after a snowstorm, right? I don't know if winter fires happen. I mean, I'm sure they do, but if it's iced over and then something catches fire, or one of these rich people has a heart attack.
Yeah.
I'll get to you in a couple hours after we hammer out all this ice. I don't know.
You're gonna want to walk in there to get the snow dogs.
Too windy to helicopter, maybe snowmobile. Right? What do you do, right? So that was a thing. They did put in another road, but we went up there. That's a zoomed in. Number 9 is a zoomed in picture of it. I think you're on 8 right now with just me and my dumb face.
Well, I mean, I didn't make that. That's not my fault.
Right. What do you do instead of smiling? I do this. So, I don't think there's much else to talk
That was
about.
not a question for you, by the way.
Let's see. Yeah, Pikes Peak. Anyway, that was a pretty good day. That was the only time I really made a video for Twitter. Was I recorded it way up there. Most of Colorado, it was tough to have a signal until I was in Colorado Springs proper. I really didn't have good signal for a while, right? But it was good. I wore my Australian hat.
What provider do you have?
My work phone has AT&T. My personal phone has Sprint. And my work phone with AT&T had more signal more often than my Sprint phone did. So that's a thing. I don't know. I did take both phones. Work didn't work because I was on furlough. I was just locked out of my system for a while. All right, let me look through these pictures one more and we'll tell you about that. Any other Colorado Springs? Okay, to wrap up Colorado Springs, it was good. If you're going to live somewhere in Colorado, it's a good target. Number one, it's not going to freeze over near as much as Denver and Boulder and up into the mountains
because it's lower down.
Two, properties cheaper in Colorado Springs proper. You can probably get something pretty reasonable down there. They still have Walmarts and Targets and all that. It's nice. And then outskirts are pretty cheap. You can get some easy property out there. And then there's some really cool stuff. There's lots of cool nature things to do. If you're gonna hit one spot in Colorado and you only have a couple days, Colorado Springs is a great place because there's so much around it that you can get to within an hour.
Yeah, if you have a car.
All kinds of. If you have a car, then you can get to it. You can get within it. We can rent a car and you can get to it within an hour. Can recommend. Alamosa was very small. Creed was very small. And then the next place we went to was Carlsbad. What we'll talk about. Carlsbad, New Mexico, is very small. We drove through Roswell, New Mexico.
Yeah.
The home of the alien landing. The museum was closed.
The alien landing.
Isn't that where Roswell's famous for? Did you see Men in Black? Did you see Men in Black? Tommy Lee Jones was there looking for his girlfriend. He had some flowers. He got lost. He found the aliens. He became part of MIB.
I'm glad you mentioned the flowers because that's like the flowers are like the entire plot of Men in Black.
It is.
Because you're just reflecting on Men in Black. Will Smith had no plot in Men in Black. Like
he was just a good. He was a good runner. He had good cardio.
He was fast. Good cardio. That was it. That was his plot. And then the main guy. Yep. He actually has storyline.
Yep. Tommy Lee Jones.
And it's all encompassed in the flowers. Effectively.
K was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. Jay had good cardio. That's
right.
It.
That's
You know who else has good cardio? This guy. And I proved it. Every place we went to, we hiked around. So let's do Carlsbad. We'll do Carlsbad, and then we'll do the sand dunes, and then we'll save the experience Carlsbad. For you, the last experience for the thing, and then we'll unpack that last. But we went through Roswell, and I don't have any pictures of Roswell, but the alien thing in Roswell is the only thing there. Every hotel, every car dealer, every fast food place, every Walmart, everything had an alien post outside or a sign or a billboard with an alien on it that said, "Come on in." Right?
They really embrace it, right? They're like,
they embrace it.
In the collective conscience of the world.
The only reason you're in Roswell, New Mexico, is to see some alien shit, right?
Just to be, it's a thing. So
unlike Colorado.
I think it's actually a lesson for streamers out there. Okay, Roswell didn't ask for this. Okay,
lean into
it, baby. Just do the thing. All right, just go for it. Just stop resisting it and just accept that you're the
embrace. Don't erase. Instead, embrace. That's it. Let's just do it.
There's your streamer lesson for today.
There's your streamer lesson, right? Yeah. Look, lean into it, man. But there was green bug-eyed signs and statues and blow-ups and even the fan guys that do this. with the fan at the bottom and they're all blowing around to advertise stuff. Those were green and had the bug eyes on it, right?
Nice.
It was
wacky inflatable flailing arm man. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the wacky inflatable flailing arm man, right?
Right.
So all of that was alien themed. Every single store we drove through. The museum was closed because of COVID, so there was two roads to go through. One of them was the bypass, the freeway that takes you around at 70 miles an hour. Well, 65, because New Mexico does not allow anybody to go over 65 in New Mexico.
Wow.
Sucks, right? Colorado,
Speed limits
80.
Suggestion.
Yeah, Colorado 75, which was good. We had an option of bypassing Roswell to get to Carlsbad faster, or we could go through Roswell and just look at it. And we knew the museum was closed because of the website, so we just drove through. And we were just going to, okay, the McDonald's is the shape of a UFO.
They really lean into it, don't they? They legit lean into it. They're so leaned into it, they're on top of it.
They're on it, yeah. The only reason anybody goes to Roswell is to either go home because you were raised there or to see some alien stuff. That's it. Man. There was nothing out there. The McUFO. Yeah, if you Google Roswell McDonald's, you will see a freaking McDonald's shoved into a UFO and planted on there and saying, "Come on in, let's get a Big Mac," right? So we hit Carlsbad because we were within the area, right? Carlsbad, the caverns are world class. Like if you have ever, if you've been to some caves, and you haven't been to Carlsbad, you haven't been to Jenolan Caves or Mammoth Caves. Those are some of the world's greatest ones. Carlsbad is America's and possibly the world's greatest cave series. It is so far down into the earth.
Yeah.
It is giant. Okay. So no. Okay. So the cave, we went to Cave of the Winds, which was in Manitou Springs. We went down a little bit. There's some tight spaces. There were some cool caves. Nothing like this. So the bottomless pit was, this is in pitch dark, the bottomless pit. Go to the one where I'm taking a picture over my shoulder with my mask on. That goes down. That is probably 800 feet into the earth. That hole is probably 5 airplane tubes down that you could fit into. It's gigantor. Okay. Every room we could fit into, I was just estimating how big these caves were and how massive and how many stalagmites and tights and formations and all that sort of stuff. And I said, I was thinking, how am I going to express to William how big this cave is? And what I thought about is the one thing he can probably wrap his mind around is speaking of the plane tube of death is the circular diameter of an airplane. How big an airplane is.
Been on an airplane once or twice.
Most of them, say the passenger planes that you and I go on from United, right? One of the United planes. You could probably fit around 40 planes of diameter into this thing on its way down. So imagine you had a cup.
It's thick.
And you could stick planes in it. 40 of them will fit downward in it.
It's thick. It's big, son.
It's giant. Then when you get to the big room is probably 100. It is so massive, and you are probably 1,000 feet down into the air and into the earth, and you don't go downward on steps. It is so steep. You saw the walkway. That is zigzags down into there. I think it's picture number 3 in Carlsbad. This zigzag pattern goes so far down. You do this the whole way because it is too steep.
They just want to make it longer. They just want to say, like, it takes 2 hours to walk this and sell you on that.
It's 2 hours.
It was a good
guess. It was. That's a good
pull. It could have been
an
hour 30 minutes if it wasn't so ziggy-zaggy.
Maybe. Yeah. But here's the crazy part: is it said wheelchair access? Ding, can do. So this was tough. So this was tough for me, and I'm in shape. Like I've got good cardio. I hustle. I'm in good shape. Yes, kids were rough. The wife can bear down and get her done.
Get her done.
I'm in good shape, and this was rough for us. I don't know how a person would. It's so dangerous for a wheelchair person to go in. Okay, so they have an elevator. They have an elevator up and down, but if you take the wheelchair down the elevator, you miss most of it. But then once you get down in there, there's still these steep grades to go anywhere. Anywhere in there. They have. I don't think I got this because we were kind of hustling to go to get out of there. But at the bottom of this, I don't know, it's probably 1,000-foot elevator, was a snack bar, and like people were employed down. They built a little city off the edge of it. It's so huge down there. Yes, and a tourist place, and you could in restrooms and all that sort of stuff. Like they built a thing down at the bottom. It's so freaking big that they could fit.
It's a vault in Fallout.
They could. Yes, it's a freaking 76 vault, man. It's giant. They got their own thing down there. And by the way, you cannot work. I don't see how you'd work an 8-hour shift down there. The moisture is so high. There is the smell of bat guano all over the place. Poo. It's by the way super valuable. Like they talk about the industry about scooping all that stuff out, and somebody made a kajillion dollars off of bat poop. And now there's a reduced bat population, but there is white blotches everywhere. It stinks. And my son, who is with me, he has a smell thing. Anybody cooking scrambled eggs?
He doesn't like the smell of scrambled.
He'll barf. He can't handle it. We walked through 1,000 feet of bat guano, no problemo.
Huh,
and me and the daughter were going like we were about to barf. That kid, Ash, no problemo with the bat guano, right? So the bat guano.
You should try OC spraying him. See if he reacts. I mean, just give him a little spritz.
Picture number 2 is a little amphitheater where they kind of have a bat viewing at dusk and dawn. I guess mostly at dusk because, but you'll see there where they basically carve a bunch of seats out of stone and you can go sit there and you'll see the bats fly out. And apparently it's just thousands of bats. We didn't hear any or see any.
It's like 1 or 2 bats.
As you go down and you hit picture number 3 was not bats. It looked like it, but they were sparrows getting all the bugs as they were coming out of the cave. Picture number 5 was me almost at the bottom of where the cave kind of starts. It does go deeper than this, but I basically tried to look upwards and take a picture of how far down it was. It didn't give a good perspective, but you see stuff that's way up there. The perspective of that, I am not a claustrophobic person. I got a little spooked, right?
Yeah.
I got a little holy crap. Sparrows, or swifts, or whatever. They look like sparrows. Wife. Okay. Just saying.
Like as your kid.
Correcting my story.
She was there, son.
She was there. But I didn't let on. But I did not let on to like the wife never. This is the first time my wife's hearing this. But I got a little shaky.
Did you? Because of claustrophobia?
Yeah.
So this is interesting to me because I have the opposite of claustrophobia.
You like the being
in a cave makes me feel super safe. No, I don't dislike open spaces, but being in these cave tours I've done before as well. I love being in them. I feel a sense of freedom while in the small enclosed areas. Yeah. Well,
hey man. Well, this is Carlsbad is for you, man. Then you would love this. You would love this thing. Yeah. I can say that if you have a choice, agoraphobia, right? Yes.
How dare you say that to me?
Yeah,
you're an agoraphobia.
But if you're a caver, then Carlsbad is your jam.
I'm not a caver. I'm a gamer.
You're a gamer. So the wife and I were talking on the way there. She said, "Look, we had just seen Cave of the Winds in Colorado Springs." And she said, there's another cave system in Australia that we had both seen. It's called Jenolan Caves. And she said, Jenolan Caves is better. And I said, yeah, I agree. It's better than anything we've seen here in the States. This is before we went to Carlsbad. And she says, I'm not just homering for Australia. I'm just saying that it's a better cave system, and I having seen it, I said I agree. So far, I've not seen anything in America that can compare to Genola. It's really, really good. And until Carlsbad, Carlsbad is tip top, man.
I feel bad for Carl. He's always being called bad, and seems like Carl's good. Carl's good.
There were 5 tours that you could go to. The easiest one was the one we did, and it was rough. If you're a delicate flower, then this is not for you. You're gonna get out of breath. Your feet are gonna hurt, and the cave itself is very moist inside, and it is slippery, like that paved area, very slick. You could slip and fall if you're not down. I was not really worried about COVID anywhere except in that cave. It was very moist. There was no wind. There was no ventilation, and people because of that. If they had a mask on, there is a problem with the mask and your specs, and it fogs up. If you're in dry climate, your glasses don't fog up too bad, or if they do, they go quick. If you're in a moist environment or a humid environment like the cave, 90% plus humidity, and you breathe into it, you got your mask on, right? And then you have your specs on, they fog up. So what you want to do is you either take your glasses off and you may slip and fall, or you take your mask down. And the wife had her mask off for a while because she couldn't. She was going to slip and fall and break her face, right? So she had to take her mask off so she could see. It's weird, right? And when
you're explaining it like it's weird, but it's really not. That's
it's really not.
Masks have been a problem with people fogging up their glasses.
Yeah.
This is how temperature works.
Yeah. So instead of letting everybody in, they have a limited number of people in. They only let 15 people go. They let 25 people go every 15 minutes, and that's how they regulate social distancing.
Okay.
And so basically you get in line and you get a little voucher that says you are a 10 a.m. slot. This is the best we could do. You're a 10:15 slot. You're a 10:30 slot.
Okay.
Right? And we got a 10 a.m. slot. So we got there, and we got there as it was opening, and we were at the back of the line. There were several hundred people in front of us that bought tickets. This was actually a cheaper ticket to get. It was $15 per head per adult, and kids were free. Like if you weren't, it was.
Were you like a bounty hunter in your previous life? You used per head a lot.
Per head, yeah.
Maybe a prostitute.
No. Per. Actually, sorry, I misspoke. Per right ear.
See this. Okay, yeah.
Per scalp. Per scalp. Okay.
Can we start saying per scalp? When you say per head, I'm just like you grabbing the hair on a decapitated head.
I actually recently rewatched Inglourious Bastards, and I was watching Brad Pitt's speech, the real Brad Pitt, and I will get my scalps. You will bring me my scalp, or you will die trying.
People love that movie.
Love that movie, right? Freaking great. Inglourious Bastards, check it out. I think that I am Lieutenant Aldo Rain, and I'm looking for 8 Jewish American soldiers. And anyway,
you just like that character in it and the way he spoke.
Yes, arrivederci.
Yeah, he does say so. I mean, he's insane. He's a crazy person, right?
The thing I don't like about fighting in a basement is fighting in a basement. You know.
Why were these lines? They're like it's Quentin Tarantino who does that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Tarantino movie.
Tarantino's super hit or miss for me. Really,
it's a super fun movie, right? So it's per head. So cheaper than the other stuff that we did, better experience. But if we were gonna catch COVID from anywhere on this trip, it's gonna be from that cave, just because it's moist and everybody is predisposed to take off their masks. Everywhere else we went, mostly it was either well ventilated or we were outside in the sunlight doing the thing.
I think the conditions are good for COVID. You're right on that.
Right, conditions were
social
good.
Distancing
and
is probably the most important thing that you're doing there.
Yeah.
So as long as you are trying to stay away, washing your hands.
Yeah, and we washed our hands before and after. Like we had a big hand washing routine. So, yeah. Oh, the most of Tarantino's movies dip into race. Yeah, they do. So they dip into race a little bit. Anyway, So I'll tell you, let's do the fun part, and then we'll do the wholesome part. So as I was checking into, I think it was the Alamosa Hotel. I stayed in 4 different Holiday Inns when I was there. There was an awkward moment. You can go back to just us, and then we'll do the desert one after. We'll do the desert, Great Sand Dunes after this, the surfing. But we were unpacking. We were basically, I was coming in at the same time. Thank you guys as follows, and thank you for the follows.
Screw your follows,
bro.
What?
Lean into it. Lean into it.
I did. I'm the angry one.
Yeah. Exclamation point Clown Town. So as I was walking in, you know how there's 2 people were walking to the door at the same time, and we're kind of coming at it from different angles, and it's kind of an awkward moment of who's going to get to the door first, right?
Okay.
That was me and my 2 kids, and another adult and his 1 kid, and we're masked up. Most of Colorado is masked up. This guy is not masked up, and neither is his kid. And as we kind of approached this is outside going into the hotel. As we approached that, I overheard him. I came into earshot of what he was saying. And what I heard from him was, quote, "And if they don't like it, they can kiss my ass." And then I looked at him, and because I heard "kiss my ass." And then I saw that he did not have a mask on. And I think what he was saying was, I'm going in without a mask, and if they don't like it, they can kiss my ass.
Presumably.
So, yes. I know that now because of what happens next. I slow up, and I also slow my kids up. I kind of make a little circuitous deal to kind of cut in behind him and let him go forward. He goes through the sliding glass door. He's got a duffel bag. His kid's got a little backpack, and they're bringing in for the night. Okay. So I've got my key already. I've already checked in, and I'm going to the elevator, and so is he. He goes to the elevator, and signs everywhere. On the front door we just got through, on the wall, on the way there, on the hallway, on the floor for social distancing, and on the elevator. Number 1, mask required. Number 2, social distancing. Number 3, no more than 3 people in the elevator or part of the same family. Okay?
Right.
And so I stop at the elevator. He gets to the elevator first, as I let him do. He hits the button, and I stay
by your good grace.
I stay 6 feet away. I'm gonna get way far away, so I'm back here. And I pull out my phone just to pass the time because I know I'm going to have to let him get in first and let him go. Per the rules on the elevator that he just hit, and it says governor requirement, all that. Not just good citizenry; these are actually actual posted rules, right? So I maintain social distancing, and he says the elevators in all of these Holiday Inns, they are not fast; they are all slow, right? We spend so much time waiting for the elevator; it's slow. He comes in, and he gets his kid gets in. He ushers his kid in. He goes in with his duffel bag, and then he says he hits the button and he holds the door and he says, "You coming?" And I said, "Catch the next one." And he says, "All right, then. I held the door for you. If you don't like it, you can kiss my ass." And
wow.
And the door closed. So
this guy has a chip on his shoulder. He really wants to prove to you that you can't tell him what to do.
And all I did was I was just like, I'll catch the next one, man. I said, "Thank you. I'll catch the next one." That's it. And he did not like the fact that I was going to wait for the next.
If you're not with him, you're against him, Blake.
You're against him. That's right. So he told me to kiss his ass. He's, "Yeah, you can kiss my ass." And as the door closed, of course, as the door closes, because that's how the nobody really wants. That's how no one really wants. That's how you know no one really wants a conflict, right? Even he really doesn't. So and then my son and a daughter both go like this, and then they look at me, and I went like, "Okay."
Some children are big.
Yeah, that's right. Some children are big. So I just went, "Okay." I went, "All right." So I said, "Okay." Well, it turns out he is 3 doors down from us. We are in room 202. He's in room 205. The saga continues. So I wait. I let him go up. And my daughter and I are just like, and he goes, And my daughter, I think she said, did he tell you this is it? I said, yeah, he did. That's the thing. And so so we walk over there. We get in the room. As it turns out, the daughter gets later on. We clean up, we get showered, everything. Daughter's hungry, and it's a little ways before we're going to go out and get food. But they do have a little free snack place down this elevator in this hotel. It is done correctly. Everything is individually wrapped, and it's not like an open banana or an apple like you would get at breakfast.
For some reason, when you said open banana, I put the word together, like open hyphen banana. I was like, what kind of banana is that?
It's open. No. Yeah. But it's not like an open fruit bowl where anyone can give their hands. It's actually, there was a kind of a plexiglass thing with tongs, and you could dig in and get a bag of Cheez-Its or something, right? They're all individually wrapped. So it was just to keep people and food away, but they still offered snacks, whatever. So I said, hey, daughter, if you're hungry, you want something just to eat right now. We're still waiting for mom and Ash to shower.
Hey, daughter. Hey, small, young girl human.
Yeah. Hello, Spawn. If you are still hungry, run down. Here's my key. Put a mask on, put some shoes on, run down the lobby, and you go get some Cheez-Its. And she goes, okay. I described to her where. So she leaves, and she comes down. She goes down, gets them, but then she forgets what room we're in.
Oh no!
And guess which room she knocks on?
No mask guy.
No mask guy. Yeah. And she's like, clink, and she knocks on. She says, I thought we were in 205, but the dude was in 205, and she overheard 205 because that's where the dude was. And so, because as we were getting into the elevator, the boy says, what room number are we, Dad? And he says 205. We overheard that, right? And then he gets in the elevator. We have the kiss my ass. So she, in her head, has we are in 205. So she rolls up and knocks on their door, and the guy goes, hello, and kind of has this rude interaction with the daughter. I don't know exactly what was said, but yeah, well, maybe find the right room next time or something. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm sorry. And she starts knocking on 205, 204, 203, 202, and basically knocks on everybody until she gets to ours, and then she comes in kind of like scared and a little shaky. So anyway, she interesting. We ended up seeing that party again.
She will no doubt encounter more assholes in her life. So
there was 4 of them in that party. They never wore a mask, even when they were leaving. Never saw them wear a mask. Never saw any of that business. But the majority of the Coloradans, whatever, they did wear masks. They did socially distance, and everybody was basically in. There was very few. That one guy and maybe one other one. It's
sad that the bad interaction probably permeates the experience.
And by the way, what you see on Twitter and the press, they will capture that. They will not capture the 99% of everybody else that I encountered, right?
I'm not going to put that one on mainstream media necessarily, because that's human nature to capture the negative, right?
Yes.
That's the thing we
do. Yes. But yeah, what I'm saying is a person will not put the 99% good interactions they have on Twitter. They'll put the one other
as is a human experience, really.
As kind of I did for the story, because that's what I said. I tweeted out, "Hey, Colorado's going great. I did have a conflict already about a mask.
As you will do, as you will have conflicts with people about not bathing, right? How many places have we gone where someone just stinks? Just nasty.
Every single convention, especially by day 3. Holy crap, those halls start to smell rank, man. They do.
Yeah, it's bad. So it's bad. I'm not one iota surprised to see people being unwilling to conform when they literally won't wash themselves. And when confronted with not having washed themselves,
hey man,
they have
asshole.
The same reaction, right?
Yeah.
They can kiss my ass,
hey,
my
asshole.
sweaty, nasty, stinky. Yes. Filth. I mean,
and suddenly I'm the bad guy for having So whatever. I did have one other. It wasn't a conflict, but I did have one other person. So, I think I was either with. I think I was with Ash, and we were down the bottom. We were socially distancing. We were again waiting for that goddamn elevator, and a couple got in. They both had bags. I think they had duffel bags. They did have masks on. And on the door, no more than 3 people. And the door opens. They get in, and the guy says, "Hey, we could squeeze you in here if you want to get in." And he starts to move and kind of squish his wife over into the corner. And he says, "We can squeeze in if you want." And I he says, "We could squeeze you in if you wanted to get on." And I said, "I don't." Yeah, so he goes, "Okay, all right." And he hit the button, and off they went. I just said, I don't.
Am I the only person who doesn't give a shit about waiting for other people in the elevator? I get in the elevator, hit my button, I'm hitting closed door.
Yeah.
Is that just me? Am I a jerk? I'm pounding that closed door. I don't give a crap. Take the stairs.
Yeah,
it's good for you.
80% of the closed door buttons on elevators don't work. They have to work in hospital. Most of it's a placebo. But that, you know how good that placebo makes you feel? Awesome. Like, let's go. So yeah, I get it. And so yeah, I said I don't. Yeah, so it's great. But I mean, I wasn't smiling that big because I was behind a. Where are you going? I was behind a mask. I'm just doing like this. This is most of my trip here, guys. I have one of these masks. This is a Ducars mask. $11, and it's got a little filter in there. You can swap out the filter. So far, so good. It's got a Velcro thing on the back and little filters and directional things. Nose bridge. It does pretty well. Yeah, that's right. That's right. My food is here. Quote. There you go. If my food is here, it is whatever he's doing, not as important. Living his greatest day in channel history for his dream job. Yeah, for the dream job that he's always wanted, playing video games on the greatest day of his channel. My food is here. I'm out. Bye. Priorities. You ain't lying. All right, so the last thing before my experience is one other thing that was really cool. I'll dip back and do that. We did actually go to the town of. Oh, but you're muted, I think. Oh,
my bad.
Badger's muted.
Sorry, I wasn't muted for you, but I was muted for everybody else.
Right. Yeah, it's Whataburger. Fries, Badger. Yeah. So in Manitou Springs.
Sponsor me.
So in the if you go to the Manitou, if you want to swap over, before you get hands, in Manitou Springs, picture of the Manitou stuff. So in the wealthy town, which all the zillion-dollar homes, this is neato. Like you would kind of like this as a tourist thing.
Don't you tell me what I would not like. But go on.
Don't talk to me. Yeah.
Don't tell me what I feel.
This is neato. This is neato. Okay, Laureen would love this. All right, we'll do that. Laureen would love it.
Laureen, you better get mad. Okay.
There are 6 springs, natural springs that come up in this town. Okay, or around this area. What they do is they grab, they put little caps on them. They cap the well, the spring. They put some pressure around it. They kind of that dampen out the things. They do some analysis on the water, and then they put a statue on it. So you see ash going up there to one of the things, and then they hand out cups, and they say, "Look, you can go try natural spring water." Fancy ketchup. And in Manitou 01, they have these little decorative springs that come up. It's all made of copper because copper is antibacterial, antiviral, and you can go fill up your running water, the water for your running. They can fill up they hand out cups that you can go try these, and they also, I think every day they take samples of the water and do water analysis that tell you the hardness, the chlorine.
I really prefer hard water whenever I can. Like I having a soft water. No,
but they tell you hardness. They tell you like limestone count. They kind of give you a chemical breakdown of what's in the water, and they have these little sample sheets out there. Yep. And then you can go up and fill up and.
Sorry, I was imitating you really from previously.
Yeah. You could taste.
No, yeah.
These
no,
things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Like water in your beer. Yeah. This is neato, man. So they have all these various springs, and picture number 1 and 2 are these little springs, and they have these little statues built around them, and you can get your dog can go up there. It's
your
real
dog
natural spring water.
Can drink the water?
Right. Yes.
Inappropriate.
And I didn't drink any of it. The family sampled it. But this little tourist area where you can go in, there's tons of shops. It's a lot like it reminded me of the Strand, right? The thing you go to, you hit up. You used to hit up in Galveston, the Strand.
Oh yeah, sure.
A bunch of shops and all that stuff. Very touristy. You walk down the middle.
It's called Main Street. It's usually what they call
Main Street. Yeah. Restaurants and stuff.
Have you
could
ever
eat
been
at,
outside before?
Once I did last week. Actually, a couple days ago. Yeah, you have a picture of me being outside.
I think I do.
It's right here.
I think you're right. I think I do have a picture of you being outside.
Yeah. And basically, they had these 6 little water things that you're supposed to go around and sample, and you can go fill up your jogging water, whatever you want to do. It's really neato.
So we have established that the water that's sold in bottles is nearly indistinguishable from.
It is correct.
Spring water.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So the famously, they put a brewery up in I think it was either Golden, Colorado. Right, Coors did. You go tour the Coors factory, and you say, "We put this brewery here because of the natural spring water from the mountains. The only way we get our beer tasting the same way, the exact way, is the right way is from the mountains and from the natural snow melting, and we got all this water. We put it here because of the water.
Right.
But in 2003, they built another brewery in St. Louis. And so then you ask the question, okay, well, wait a second. How do you get the natural spring water down to St. Louis? And it turns out municipal water, same stuff. Just as good. Just as good.
Literally the same.
St. Louis municipal, just as good. So they have a brewery in St. Louis. Same stuff. Doesn't really matter where you come out. Mountain Spring is just a marketing ploy. Yep.
So there are vitamins and things like that in other waters, but you can just take a vitamin pill if you really were into that.
Yeah. Drink out of your tap, and take a Flintstone multi, right? Yeah. Do your thing, which I do. The most interesting one is that Ash did. I got a picture of this. Was he found an old typewriter with the hands that do this on it, an old non-electric typewriter, I guess. Where that the spring loaded, I don't know what they're called. He thought that was awesome.
Stop. Where's Blake and what did you do with him? You did.
The electric ones do. This is the manual one.
So it goes. Okay. Just pretty sure you're Blake, but you're a snake.
Yeah,
human.
So
right now.
So Ash wanted to stay at this typewriter and fiddle around with it for hours, and we had to be like, all right, get out of here, get out of there. But that was a neato. That's one of the antique shops. Nothing of value in that entire shop. Bunch of crap that they wanted to sell us. But Ash was enthralled with the typewriter.
Tiller has an interesting tidbit here. Here in the UK, tap water has to meet certain standards. Bottled water soda here isn't held to the same standards and could potentially be worse.
Oh, interesting, Tiller. Unintended consequences. Right?
What an oversight.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Great Sand Dunes 04 is the next one. All right.
I think it's all the way at the bottom. Oh, no, it's not.
Yeah. So the Great Sand Dunes are in, I think they are in between Alamosa and Colorado Springs.
Honestly, they seem pretty mediocre.
And actually, there is a ton, just tons and tons and tons and tons of sand going up 700 feet in the air.
There's sand?
In the middle of Colorado.
In the sand
apparently
dunes?
Formed by glaciers or something. We are not even anywhere near a beach.
You're really good at subverting my expectations, because I was sure that you were going to say gravel.
No. I was going to say Jello. Yeah, lime green Jello. So Great Sand Dunes. You can Wikipedia how they were formed. All this super interesting place because there is no sand, not this much sand, I guess, anywhere else.
Super interesting place.
Yeah,
because of the sand.
Surrounded by
Disagree.
mountains mountains and grass.
A tiny bit
Nothing like
interesting,
it.
a little bit interesting. Nothing like it. There's about a billion things like it. There's so many things like it. It's probably inconceivable to the human mind.
But
it's sand.
What you can do is you can rent sleds and surfboards and go sandboarding the same way you would snowboard.
Wow,
or
cool.
Sand sledding. Picture number 3 shows me on one of these sand surfers, and I tweeted this out.
Wow, there's actually a lot of people there.
There was a lot of people there, and I got the most burned on the backs of my arms because I did the spray thing, spray sunscreen, and I just forgot to hit the backs of my arms. I got so freaking burned. It was real bad, and I'm peeling all over the place now. Most of the rest of me was fine, but it was the backs of my arms.
Except your brain
got it really bad.
Really interesting.
I had to. From then we went to CVS, and I said, "Wife, we're not doing the spray. Get me the goo. I need to be able to slather something on me. I need the goo."
One day I'll be able to say that to my wife. Get me the goo.
Give me the goo. I need the goo, and then I can rub it all over me, right? So we got one of each. We got a sled and then the surfboard, the snowboard.
Sounds kind of fun.
Sandboard. And we tried each. Turns out the sandboard was way more fun. It was way harder to stand up and all that sort of stuff. You could also sit on it and go down. They give you basically a hotel soap.
You can sit on it.
They give you a hotel soap worth a bar of wax that you rub on the bottom of it to slick it up.
Oh, okay.
Like a surfboard. And you gotta buff it. Yeah, they give you a little thing. You gotta buff it in.
See to all buff.
And you wipe it on the bottom, and then you buff it in. The lady who was giving us these boards.
30 minutes.
Like 1 or 2 runs, and then you got to do it again. So
sorry, I was being facetious.
The sand rubs it off real quick. But after the second time I did it, I immediately got it, and I could do it. I could stay up.
Is it like riding a bike?
Nah, kinda. Ash didn't do too well. Daughter did okay. Wife fell a bunch of times. But it was pretty rough. Not only are you high up in the air.
Wife sucked at it. It was total garbage.
Yeah, not only are you high up in the air, but it's pretty physical to do. You got to, here it goes. Number 3, no pickles, no cheese. Oh, you got cheese.
I know. I did get cheese. That's sad. It's a travesty, frankly.
You got your pills?
I do not have the pills here.
Oh, okay.
Like right in front of me.
Your pills are a damn issue every goddamn time. Every trip we take.
I have pills, and I will forget to take them undoubtedly.
Undoubtedly.
No
I'll message
pickles,
you afterwards. No pickles. No. Let me just get this. I'll field this question while you take your first bite. Lorraine, a Badger believes that the pickles and the cheese are an overpowering flavor that take away and actually mask the rest of the deliciousness of the burger. So he removes the pickles and the cheese because of that. But also, he's got a lactose intolerant deal that has been an issue on many a trip that he and I have taken together, where he's lost or forgotten his pills or something like that, and he's got to go get them. He does like the meat of the burger. So it's number 3, which is triple meat. Number 3, no pickles, no cheese. I know this because I have procured this for him a number of times.
You bribed. I bribe.
A bribe. If you happen to find out wherever Badger lives and you knock on his door, he will likely have a gun drawn at you through the door. But if you say, I got a Whataburger here, he'll go, okay, and immediately open the door and let you just ride on in.
Gotta pay the toll.
It's the easiest way to get into Badger's home. His pants, offer food, right on in. No problem. He'll pull a gun on everybody if you don't know. So that's the thing.
That is this. Blake is saying that's not admissible in court. I just want to kind of distance myself from the idea that I'm shooting people over here, right?
No. It's not. I mean, it's brandishing. It's just a light brandishing.
Okay.
All right. So Basically, we went all the way up to as high as we could get, the highest peak we could see. And once we got up to the highest peak, we found many more peaks behind that. So we said, all right, we're just going to get up there, take some pictures, whatever. Someone had scrawled in picture number 1, 2020, in with their board into the sand. Ash and I scrawled clown into picture number 2 and took a picture. Mostly because we were exhausted and it was starting to rain and the sand was wet, so it was kind of hard to draw through. It was a absolute blessing that it rained the day before, so that the sand was not just all up in our eyes and just in our mouth and our teeth. It was a little more packed in, so even in the high winds, it wasn't really kicking up into our faces. But once we got up on the top of the peak and the wind picked up and it was drier, then we started getting like, oh God, like it was all over us. But the day after it rained, big time, awesome, nicely packed sand, not a ton of sand in your face, but it's very windy there. So if you're ever thinking about going to Great Sand Dunes, be ready for a workout. Rent a surfboard and sled so you could try it. Rent one of these little boards. There's plenty of companies that do it. We just found one online that was just down the road. It was like $20 a day for each for the thing. You can buy them for $250 for a good one, or you can rent one for the day for $20. So that's what we did.
I feel like you're not going back. So.
Yeah, we probably won't. We probably won't go back. You know.
That seems cool though. I mean, for $20, it's
yeah,
fun.
And it made this whole thing way more fun than just going there and hiking
and
up,
looking
hiking up
at the
thing.
sand.
Yeah.
Which I refute again is not interesting.
Not interesting.
Okay.
Giant hills of it though. I mean,
I think an indicator that they had to call it the Great Sand Dunes is probably indicative that it's not particularly great.
Or giant. Oh, that it is giant, and it is completely out of place. It's completely out of place. I could imagine a bunch of these hills in Florida with on the beaches, like tons and tons of sand. It's the fact that it is how did this get here?
No.
Okay, anyway.
It's no.
It's
just sand.
It's just sand.
It's not like a hill of gold. It's not like out of this
right.
world. Sand is probably one of the most common forms of, I don't know, sediment ever.
Maybe.
You don't go to a hill and be like, how did this get here?
People be like, how did this get here? People be like, So, but it's quite a spectacle, at least to us. Also,
I'm sure
super
there.
fun.
I mean,
there's 700 feet of sand up in the air. It's not like one little hill, and you're going, how the hell did this get here? Right? It's mountains of sand.
It's fine. I forgive you, Blake.
Right.
I mean, it's good to find interest in things. I apologize for being a Debbie Downer with your great sand dunes.
Debbie Downer, heck yeah. Yeah. No, it was fun. It would not nearly have been as fun just to go see it, other than to surf it and do the thing.
The surfing sounds fun. I'm concerned about your choice of equipment for this. No shoes, shorts, short sleeve shirt, no face covering really.
I had a hat. Ball cap, and sunscreen. Yeah,
that's a face covering. I was more worried about the issue with the like.
Well,
not
I
wearing
did have
goggles.
shoes. Everybody, yeah. So we thought we did. We brought goggles. We brought the kids had goggles, and we had over the glasses goggles. Did not need them because it had rained beforehand. If it was completely dry, hadn't rained in a week, it would have been murder. Because as we topped the hill, which was a hike, and it's hard. By the way, you know this. How are your ankles doing after you hike through sand in your army boots? Your ankles are going to be screaming, right?
Better than your ankles while walking barefoot.
Yeah. But I didn't go barefoot. I had shoes. But okay. you take them off when you surf, because you can't really fit your feet in there.
The misconception that you don't want to be wearing full clothing in the heat is significant. People always feel that way, that you don't want to be in full covering. But if you actually go look at people who are walking around the desert all the time, they're fully covered.
Covering. Yeah,
all the time.
Fully covered. Also,
it keeps you cool. It doesn't make you hot.
The lawn dudes.
If you're spending a long period of time, right? You're a great example. Spending a long period of time in the heat, you don't want to be naked. That's not going to help.
Painters also, outdoor painters. They are covered head to toe.
But
they look like
if I wear less clothes, I'll be cooler. You're stupid.
Yeah. You're going to lose water. You're going to lose water and all that other stuff. Yeah, you want to be covered. But we weren't there. Yeah, we were only there for about 2.5, 3 hours or so. It wasn't a super long time. So
it was fine. I would just I would want to not hurt myself.
As soon as I as soon as I got the hang of surfing, there was one guy next to me who is a one-armed guy, and his name was Brett, and he was having trouble.
I want to be clear. He has a missing arm. He's not a thief.
He has, yeah. He was missing an arm.
Okay.
He is sans arm. He is sans his left arm. And I said, first thing, what side dominant are you? And
what kind of why?
And I said, I assume.
It's like asking. It's like, why would you do that? It's so insensitive.
Listen, no. I said, I assume you're right-handed.
He only has one hand, Blake.
He says, good question. I'm right-hand dominant. And he had his right hand. He was missing his left hand. But he could have, okay, here's the thing. He could have been a lefty, which means he gets on the surfboard wrong because it's more important what you do with your right foot. If he's right side, I said right side, which side dominance are you?
Okay, that's
not right-handed are you? Okay. Because your dominant foot you want on your back. So as I'm standing there, you want so I'm right-handed. So you want.
Were you trying to help this guy surf better?
Yes, and I did. And he got it the same after I explained it to him. He quit falling and he got going good.
Okay.
So
well, okay. I would like to point out that people can be right hand dominant, be left leg dominant is the thing, and then eyes can also swap.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Point that out there.
Right. So, and he said, good question. He actually praised me for my question, and I said, I assume you're right-handed. I assume you're right-handed, not only because statistically that's a good bet, but he was missing his left hand. Okay.
Still feel like a little bit insensitive to be like, hey, what's your dominant hand, forehead? He has no other hand. Yeah, forehead.
No, I said, and he says, hey, good question. I'm right-handed. And I said, okay. So what I want you to do is right side back, on the back, put your right foot in the backside, left foot down, and then crouch here. And then I want you to lean backwards towards your right side and do 80-20 split between your weight. And so he and I did. Name? Brett.
How tall was he? Color of his hair?
6'2", brown haired. Huh?
Did you get his phone number? I feel like people. No. This is kind of who Blake is. He talks to random people. I think you're just interested in random people, honestly.
Sometimes.
I would not help this random stranger skate better.
He had one arm. He
had one arm. Why is that important?
And he was eating it bad. He was
okay. So that if you had started with, I saw this guy Brett. He was eating it really bad. I tried to instruct him on how to do better skateboarding by talking to him to his dominant side, and then maybe he had one arm. But you said this one arm guy named Brett. Like I don't. Well, obviously it stuck out to you, but I feel like leading with that, it was like this person with Down syndrome I talked to, John. So well, maybe don't identify John simply by his disability.
But he had one arm.
Okay, that's all I had. That's all I had. Okay. That was my issue. So with
he and his girlfriend were sitting there, and
does his girlfriend have one hand?
Nope, she had both because she was clapping. I saw she was clapping. I know. I looked. I saw clapping. So, because she started clapping after I gave the instruction, and he succeeded. She said, "Way to go, Brett!" And I said, "Yeah, Brett, way to go." I assumed. And he responded to Brett, so I assume his name is Brett.
You didn't. Okay, so you like.
It could have been Sam. I mean, it could have been Sam.
Well, that'd be weird.
But he responded to Brett as if she called him, and I said, "Good job, Brett. Good job."
Is Brett short for something?
We were talking to him. Right?
This is why Blake was banned from Constantino.
Yeah. So I was just being friendly. He goes, "Yeah, thanks, man. It was great." And he says, "Yeah, nice. I felt it better in my back foot, and leaning back helped, and crouching helped." Right.
Well, you were obviously a natural at this.
I did pretty good. Crouching. It's like doing a squat the whole way down.
Did you have you done any skateboarding or surfing?
Never surfed and never skateboarded like once and ate it really bad. But this one I kind of took. I'm banned from the Las Vegas club downtown Las Vegas. Long story. So, all right, last one.
It's kind of like the story where I got banned from Twitch. We don't really talk about it. We
don't really talk about that. All right, last one. Float 01.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I saw this and I was restraining myself.
Yeah, I had to send you this picture. I knew it was going to be a spoiler, but my wife bought me for an occasion a float experience.
So this is a sensory deprivation tank, eh?
Yes, and it was a thing here. So what they do is sensory deprivation tank is they load it with something like 1,000 pounds of Epsom salts, high magnesium content, high salt content. They have all these
floating.
warnings about
the density of the liquid.
And helps you float. I have a very little fat on my body. I'm mostly sinew and bone and a little bit of muscle. I don't float very well normally. This thing was basically, I was super buoyant. I could float pretty good. Yeah. So the pre-instructions were to get in there, and number one, you couldn't have any like skin conditions or any of that business. Two, you need to shower first. In that room where you're looking, there's a shower. Like you have to, they make you shower beforehand. 3, if you're a lady, you can't be on lady time.
This is for trying not to get contaminants in the water.
Contaminants. 4, I think you can't have, they had a bunch of COVID questionnaires, fever, and all that other business. So
chat just burned you so bad.
Thank you very much. Okay, well, haha.
Re6 says, come on, clown. We all know shit floats. Gee, wow. Somebody got an ambulance for this man.
So then when you get in there, they make you shower. And they have this soap out there. You're supposed to, scrub yourself down real good and make sure it's clean. Over in the corner, like behind that, there's this box that all the water runs through it. It pumps and makes all this noise, but it's supposed to go through filtration, charcoal filter, and UV filter, so that it's pretty much just killing whatever's in the water, right? And they have all these guarantees, all this other business. I don't know. I'm dubious about all of this business, but I just said, okay, we're gonna do it. We're in this thing. I don't have any skin conditions, none of that business, and we're just gonna.
The skin condition thing is interesting. I don't know what they really mean by that.
I don't know.
Can you give other people skin conditions by being in the same water?
Like if you have a contagious rash or something.
Contagious rash.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't have any. So I did. Yeah, about the DMT and getting in one. Right. Yeah, that's kind of the goal. So what this thing is supposed to do is you float in it. You close the door and no light can get in. And so that it does not matter if your eyes are open or closed, which is a freaky thing. You have earplugs that you're supposed to put in before you get in. The temperature of the water is 96 degrees exactly, which is the temperature of your skin on the outside. So it's basically like you're trying to, there's no taste, no smell. So you have no senses. So basically the goal is to get to where you're a floating brain.
Right.
Right. And you detach from all of the senses that you have. So let's put a pin in this. While I was driving, doing lots of driving, I was shifting in my seat and I was moving, as dudes do, moving the shorts around to get a little more comfortable with the boys. And I accidentally scratched myself on or about the taintal region.
Oh, you had
this
a cut
little skin
in your taint.
Skin scratch. Never broke the skin, but it was enough of
your epidermis was pierced.
One layer.
It's called a cut.
Right? One layer, no blood. Okay.
Yeah, but no. Okay.
Okay. So I get in there. I get into the room. The guy says, "All right, here's your instructions. Go ahead, do your shower. Rinse off. Here's your soaps, all this other stuff. Then shut off the light to the room. Shut off the light to the shower. Then the light in there, that blue light, will light your way so you can get in. Once you get in, don't put a towel bridge between you and the shower, because if you end up having to get out of this float tank, everything you touch will be covered in salt. As it evaporates, there'll be crystals everywhere." He said, "So try and help us out." do all of that, and then before you get in, put a towel down so you walk from the towel straight into the shower. Okay, I did all that. I shower, and I shower up, and I get in, and I close the lid, and I'm sitting there, and you can either have the light on in the tank, or they recommend you turn it off. You can have the lid up or down. They recommend you shut it down so you actually do get your eyes done. Your eyes will shut off from sensory as well. And then he says, when you're ready to start the experience, hit the button and music will come on for the first 10 minutes, and then it'll leave you alone. And then at the end of your hour, the music will come up again for 5 minutes to either wake you up or get you back in the mindset of coming out of it. So you got, okay. So as soon as you hit this, and there's a button inside there, I think I have the button for the light. So he says, this is the light, this is the start your experience. So I said, okay, start your hour. So I said, okay. So I put my feet in there, and then I sit down, and I immediately I get into the water, and I pull the lid down with the light on, and immediately every abrasion, cut, scratch stings like a mother trucker.
Can you get
including my
how
taintle? It's lemon juice. It's lemon juice in your cuts. It's
so
bad.
Like a 3 pain?
3 or 4, yeah. And I'm stinging pretty bad. It's high salt.
So I think that my masochist would come out. This excites me.
I know.
I'm like super into this.
Yeah, I know.
Stinging pains all over my body sounds great.
So I lean back. They give you a little neck pillow that helps your lumbar. If you use the pillow, it helps stretch your neck out to where it straightens your alignment. Because otherwise, you may be floating with down.
Like on my car.
Yeah, but it's like a type of donut thing for your looks like a little toilet bowl, but you float in it. It helps keep your lumbar in it. So I sit in there and I lean back, and sure enough, I float immediately. And then all that pain starts washing over me. Well, then what you're trying to do is stay still. And I start laughing because I am stinging insane. All over. I'm stinging, and I'm laughing. I'm laughing at my taint scratch because I'm like,
as you would do.
See,
as you would do.
The irony of I'm in this float tank, supposed to be sensory deprived, and the one place that I cannot really ignore this, which is hilarious, is the underboys is hurt because I accidentally scratched it 2 days ago, right? So, and it is just stinging like it's salt. It is such a high content of salt, rubbing it right in your wound, right?
So you're enjoying yourself so far. So or I would be enjoying myself
I get
so
my
far.
float, and then I assess. Okay, I'm ready to go, and I hit the button to start the experience, and then I hit the light because the light goes from blue to green to red. It's like these nice little waves of light, and then suddenly I see the rim of light around the edge, remembering that I forgot to turn off the overhead light, so I can see light coming in from the room. So I'm like, So I am continuing to laugh even more at my disaster, right? So then I have to pop this thing open. By the way, naked. They say you can use a swimsuit. We recommend against it because then it's
covered in
you'll
salt.
feel your swimsuit. It's covered in salt. Hey, Bull Viking, thank you very much for that, host. And so I get out and I am laughing, eyes closed, hard laughing. You remember our clip of boosting away? How hard I was laughing and boosting away? I was laughing at all of this shit going on, and I'm supposed to relax, and I'm laughing so hard. I scoot on the towel over to the light switch and grab a little washcloth, shut off light, scoot back, making me laugh so much more because I'm trying to be a good citizen here and not get water and salt everywhere. I get back into the thing and I'm laughing. I get to floating again and I'm laughing and I'm shaking so hard. I'm laughing so hard. Eventually I get over this. Now and the song is still playing, so I'm still within the first 10 minutes. All this disaster going on, and it's now pitch black, and the music's playing. I shut the light off again, and now the tank is doing this. It's wavy because I'm laughing so hard. All right, I eventually get everything calmed down, and now it's hot in there. I'm starting to sweat, and I'm going because the water is warmer. It's bath water at this point, and I have not adjusted. So I'm sweating the whole time, and I'm going, well, this is just something that I'm going to have to endure for 60 minutes. It's going to be a sauna. Well, around the music shuts off, 15 minutes in, and I took my notes right afterwards. I level out, and I get perfect, right? I get I equilibrium.
Did you do any drugs before
every
this?
single thing hurts. What's that?
Did you do any drugs before this?
On the waiver, it said no drugs of any kind, no alcohol, nothing under the influence. They make you sign that you are not going to do any drugs on it.
What?
The other rule: no hair dye, because if you like dye your hair purple or something,
yeah, it's gonna
it'll leak out, and then the whole thing is the next person comes in and goes, "Why is this shit?" I'm
gonna get pink.
Right? I'm gonna get pink, right? So the first 15 minutes, I was hot and sweaty. What really grabbed me was opening my eyes and closing my eyes was no different. That is
cool.
Freaky, right? It's cool, but it's freaky. Like it's a trip out of experience to be able to open your eyes and see no difference from closing them. So I said, okay, what do I do now? And I said, I may as well close them. I'm going to rest my eyes this whole time since there's nothing.
The resting them would be open.
I closed them. All right. So then I said, okay, I said, okay, I'm going to focus on my breathing, breathe deeply through the nose. And so I said, long, deep breaths in through the nose, and long out. I try also through the nose. I cleaned out my nose beforehand, made sure I didn't have any blocks because I didn't want any bugs or anything like that. Turns out I felt a little bit of gas come up.
Farting?
And I said, all right, well, what do I do here?
You love your own brand. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Get some bubbles in there.
Okay.
Feel that run up your taint.
Do I or don't I? Because that's a thing.
How is that a decision? I've been like, yes, I get to fart.
Well, it's enclosed. Okay, so then I would laugh because I would laugh.
I think so far what I've learned about you is that when you're at your most relaxed, you're the Joker.
I am so much. It's so funny. Everything's so freaking funny, right? So then I just said, okay, well, here's my plan. I'm gonna push it back in. I'm gonna hold it, let it go in. If it comes out a second time, then I'm gonna go in. But if this is just a wave, you know how it waves. Sometimes it waves and it will come back. You can delay it for a little bit. I said, if it comes up again, then we'll let her go. I feel like that's a good compromise. And I'm trying to get into the Zen, right? So, at somewhere around 15...
there's not a whole lot of moments where you say something where I don't really have a response, but that was one of them.
Leave them speechless. So then, so then the next thing I said, okay, I'm just gonna focus on feeling my body, see if I can still feel everything, right? And see how much of my skin has disappeared based on the sensation, right? Because it's the water is exactly the temperature. I equaled out. The water is exactly the temperature of your skin, and so then I started wiggling my fingers, and I would feel the waves, and I would kind of wiggle my shoulders like this. And I could feel the waves, but otherwise it was pretty cool. Like you can't really feel your thing, right? So
you can feel my thing.
Then, as I was disassociated from all of this, I started floating to the side wall, and I was going very, very slowly. I was just very, very slowly, and with being disassociated with everything, it felt like I was falling to the side. It was very dramatic. I was floating until that stopped once I bumped the side. I like bumped with my elbow, and I went, oh, okay, there's the side. So then I said, okay, I'm just gonna very slowly try and get myself back in the middle, and I did that. The other thing that I did was I put my hands under the water because usually they're floating on top, and then I put my hands under the water and I cracked my knuckles. That was neato to hear in the water.
Are your ears under the water?
Yes. It came up to here, but I had the earplugs in, which they give you some earplugs you're supposed to. Yeah. So it was right there. And what they were telling me is you don't want this salt water in your eyes. You're screwed.
Really?
Right? Yes. It will burn.
You sure?
Yes.
They had to tell you that?
Yes.
Have you ever been alive?
Yes.
Try putting salt in your eyes, guys. It's great.
To that end, they had a spray bottle hanging inside the thing and a washcloth on the handle. So if you get salt in your eyes, you're going to have to do that. Okay. So that was neato. Every single move I did caused waves, and it was going everywhere, right? Okay, so then this was an interesting one. So from jiu-jitsu, I've had a shoulder injury forever, for the last 3 years, and every time I move my shoulder around like this. So I said, okay, I don't have much else to do. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to focus on blood flow and breathing, and see if I can just focus on my shoulder and ask my body to go over there and heal it. I ain't got nothing better to do. I got 10 minutes, as it turns out. I got nothing else going on. I'm just going to say, I'm going to focus on that shoulder, and I'm going to breathe through it. I'm going to have my body go over there and fix it. I'm just going to see if I can will and see if it feels better.
I want to make fun of you for this, but I feel like it's inappropriate to make fun of you, honestly. Like it's like kicking a kid when he's down.
This was a thought that I had. I said, well, maybe
I honestly don't think it's an insane thought.
Right. See? It's not.
Sorry,
right. I said, well, you got nothing better to do, and I could come out of this with a healed shoulder, right? Maybe if I remove all this stuff, I could at least get a little bit of healing going on. So then I said, focus. And I said, all right. So then what I did was I raised my hand above here where I could feel where the pain was. There's a specific spot on my shoulder that hurts every time. It's not bad. It's a less than 1 out of 10. Self-healing, yeah. So then I said, okay, that right. And so I raised my arm above my head like this while I'm floating. And I said, that's it right there. Go get it. And I said, body, go get it. That's it. So I said, I'm breathing, long, slow breath. Go get it. Go get it.
This is a very spiritual thing that you're doing, not a very scientific thing.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And I admit,
which is fine.
This is a very
this is more healing
thing.
Your mind than anything else.
100%. So I said, I don't know what the hell this is going to do. As a scientist myself, we're just going to try this, right? So then I just focused on some breathing, and time's going by really quickly as it turns out. So then here's the part you're going to like. Then I said, well, with this time, what do I need to do? What am I going to clear my mind with, right? So I think
there's a bit of a failure in this, because what I think that you should have been focusing on is thinking of nothing rather than thinking of tasks to perform in this situation. You're so work oriented that
maybe
this didn't work for you.
Well, my breathing was my nothing. Was my nothing.
Even then, you're like, okay, I'm going to do my breathing so that I can lower my heart rate, so I can be more relaxed. You're focusing on the activity of being more relaxed,
right? Yes, in my nothingness. So to that end, in my try and think of nothing and trying relax, the thing that came up was, okay, I'm going to do. But I did have this thought to verbatim. I'm going to do some work on myself, and that's what it is. Yes,
I think at this point, society and the situations you've lived in, the experience you've had, have wired you that if you are not doing work, you are wrong.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that was phase one. Was I worked on my body? Yeah. You're right.
I think that's a big takeaway for this.
That's a big takeaway.
I want
to. So then
your wife got you this thing to to disconnect, and you were incapable of such.
Right. So here's my next one, and you're gonna go told you on this next segment. Right.
I do that sometimes.
Yeah. So here's what I did is I wrote all this down, and I said, okay, my next thing I'm going to do, the next piece of work I'm going to do is I'm going to think of all my relationships that are valuable in my life.
I'm changing relationships to relationships from now on for me. Okay? Just as a generalization.
And I said, okay, I'm going to go through all the people who I care about, who are important to me. And I'm going to think about what they need from me.
There's the Twitch rep guy. That's number one. There's a dude who did the bit system on number 2.
Mike Minton, number 2. Yep.
Right, yeah.
Mike Minton. Sam, the guy with watch parties, yep.
There's number
3. Yeah. So this is a part you're gonna like here. So I said, okay, I'm gonna go through all my relationships that I care about and what they need from me. Because people, as a man, as a leader, as a streamer, as a friend, as a dad, people need stuff from you. They just do. Okay? And kind of your job as all of those roles is to give people what they need.
A lot of hard tasks there. And
it's
that's
hard.
a lot to put on yourself.
Yeah. So I went through, I thought of I thought about like my mom and dad. I thought of the wife, what she needs more of from me. Kids, my friends, all of those, my real life friends, my veteran friends, my stoner veteran friends, and other people that I have that I care. So I had a pretty short list, right? You're on that list.
Thanks.
You're in that.
It means a lot to me.
And
it really does.
I'm gonna read.
Like, I know I'm on that list too. You told me that from every single day, from day one that I've met you. We've had this relationship that I'm on that list. There's never a doubt in my heart.
And I'm gonna read you what I wrote down.
Oh.
Okay? What this is my perception of what you need. Okay. Thought this was gonna be easier. What you need is a good example, a model of what reliable masculinity looks like. And someone who manifests the things they want in their life by first saying it and then doing it. Like all the things that I say I'm going to do, I start doing them. And what I think you have a good need in your life is someone who is always going to be right there and be super reliable and be the dude that you call and I'm freaking there. To that end, we've had some deeper conversations, and I'll just blanket it by saying the men you have known in your life have mostly been shitbags.
This is
true. I want to be another man in your life that is not only not a shitbag, that's minimum, but a freaking the best example I could possibly be of what good masculinity looks like.
You know, I've done that already, right? You've done all these things for me in my life. You show me what a good husband looks like, a good dad looks like, and I never had that before. You really have.
Good citizen, right? Good dad.
That one's out. That one's out on the fence still on good citizen. I'm not sure about that one. I'll give you the other two.
Of course you could. Of course. We couldn't do this. We couldn't do this deep, meaningful moment without cracking and busting each other's balls. Oh man. Anyway, so that's what I wanted to wrap up with. So I have other things in my sphere that I have for other people. I wrote down what my daughter needs, what my son needs, what the wife needs, what my mom and dad need, like all of the people who are close to me that I have. My requirement was real life relationships that I meet with, and I have a thing. And so I had 2 to 3 points of little bullet points that I wanted to capture of what they need. And then after I did all of that,
it's really good if you didn't take notes on this. That's a big deal.
I got out and I wrote them all down on my phone immediately because I was going to forget.
Part of the process as well.
Yep.
Having these thoughts and then reflecting on them and then physically writing them down.
In your journey, how much has journaling everything helped? Tons. That is 80% of the work is freaking writing that down.
It really is, and it's very often the hardest work.
Otherwise, you're goofing a boot. What are you doing, right?
This is a big thing for me. Difference between doing science and messing around is writing it down. That's my policy.
So now then what I did lastly, which is kind of my jam, okay, is then I said, all right, Blake, what do you need?
And this was the point of the sensory deprivation tank, in my opinion. I appreciate that you did all these other things, and I think they were not bad. Thinking about yourself, thinking what's going on, and working through all this stuff.
Right.
And this is the biggest deal.
Right. But here's the thing. I knew you would take exception to this. You should think on what do you need first. And what I'm here to say is your life is only as beautiful and as meaningful as you can be a service to others. And that's what I want to be. That's why I put myself at the end of that list. Now, granted, everybody has these tendencies. You got to take care of yourself or you're not going to take care of others. All of my basic needs are met. Everything's stable, right? Got a job, got a family, got all that sort of thing. Most of all the things that I give all these other people cannot happen if I'm a wreck. I get that, right? I admit that. But if all of those minimum needs and all of those sorts of things are good, then my service to them as a kind of a manifestation of my life is going to be in service to other people, or in service to a community, in service to my family, in service to all this other stuff. And it's going to be it has been a pretty beautiful life, right? And it's going to be.
This is something that's been part of your life for before you even knew it. This mentality of yours of finding fulfillment, finding happiness in your activity for others. I think you've always done it, and that's why you gravitated towards streaming. You found this outlet where you could find and help people, and those moments where someone says, "Hey Blake, thanks for streaming because you helped me today." That's why you stream, and this is why we have worked together so long, because we both have this aspect of the number one way that we feel happy is by helping others, and less by helping ourselves. And it's almost selfish. It is borderline selfish, honestly, when we help others, right? Because it's something that we want to do.
Yep. So I wrote down for myself that my goal is to create stability in an unstable world. That is what I'm most worried about.
Scary world right now. We need that.
It is, and other people need someone who's going to be stable in an unstable world. And the thing I need to work on is how I deal with that. And when I don't find stability, I need to make sure that I still have a good attitude about it when I find instability, right? And I'm not as dismissive, and I'm not all that sort of thing. And then I also need to...
I've watched you work at that too. There's lots of particular times where I found that you had a certain attitude towards something, but you were willing to have that attitude turned.
Yes. Yeah.
When appropriate.
Right. And then the other one is I need to think about how through...
Holy
shit!
Thank you for $100.
Guys,
wow! What in the world? Jeez!
If you're just listening to this on the audio, we just had the live. This is streamed live on twitch.tv/Enough About You. Come check it out sometime. We just had a bunch of follows today, and we just had $100 worth of bits. It's 10,000 Twitch bits thrown at the channel. So
good Lord, Hawk,
you very much.
You lad, thank you so much for that. It's very kind.
And so yeah, thank you. Thanks so much, Hawk. Appreciate it. And then I thought about and then I thought about how I do this, and one of the things I'm most worried about is how I protect my family in times of instability, not only just political but disease and all that other stuff. How I protect them and how I interact with them from the things, but I need to let loose on the right stuff and then protect on the right stuff, and I need to get my head around how that works. And Mr. Fish, thank you also very much for throwing in some bits on that. Good.
I think that's something that's going to permeate a lot of lives, being able to protect. I mean, a lot of people put themselves in the position of protector of their family, of just their animals, right, and themselves. Probably a lot of the people listening to this are in that role. And right now, I think more than ever, you are constantly thinking about, what do I need to do to protect myself? Because maybe someone isn't going to come protect me if I need it. Myself
and my loved ones, right? And it's a real need. Sometimes you need to do what's right, even though it's unpopular. Sometimes you need to do what's right, even though it is dangerous. It is dangerous. And sometimes, and then there's other times you need to let go. And so what I was thinking through was I need to have a good attitude to be able to shift between all of those modes as I look out for myself and look out for my friends and family. So. And then the last bit was I was kind of working through that, and then the music came up. and
wow.
I had it went so quick. Like I did not think it was an hour. But I unpacked every relationship I care about, and including myself. And then right about the end of that, music comes up, and I just had this really big smile on my face. Like I was like physically showing my teeth in this thing. I knew I could do that. If I could do that inside. And the music comes up, music stops, which means it's time to get out. So then I get back to the shower, and I rinse off. I do a little soap because you gotta get all that salt off because it's gonna be super salty. If you put on any clothes, you're soon to be covered in salt. So then I grab a towel, and remembering the waiver that I signed, I grabbed the towel and I dried my hair and I dried my face, and I immediately smelled this towel, and it smelled so much like weed. And I went, what the hell? Why did I sign a waiver?
You're in Colorado.
Everybody before me can just smoke out anytime they want. And I was going, and then I started laughing again uncontrollably, like, ah! And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my Colorado trip. Thank you guys very much for being here. Badger, what do you got coming up this week?
I'm glad you had a vacation, man. I'm really happy for you. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm going to be trying my best to stream noon CDT, 7 p.m. EE time, 3 a.m. Australian time. I have been struggling with my schedule. I've been struggling with my mental health. I'm doing my best to deal with it. I've got a lot of other things going on. I'll try to be there when I possibly can. Sorry if I missed the days. We're doing Terraria for the Worthy. I am playing some Red Dead Redemption 2. I might be streaming that. I'm playing some Dead by Daylight. And maybe some Escape from Tarkov because I've been enjoying that as well. What you got going on?
Mm-hmm. Lots of streaming. Factorio 1.0 is less than 2 weeks away. Nice. I've started a podcast with my buddy Rain9441. It is aptly called the Factorio Podcast. We've done one episode. We're going to do another episode.
Oh, cool. I'm glad you guys named it that so pointedly.
The Factorio Podcast. That's it. Because you know why? Because there isn't one. And because you know why? Someone asked, is there one? And I said, nope, but here we go. And Rain came at me and said, I want to start a podcast, and you're the one who I want to start with. So Factorio releases 1.0 on August 14th. So we are going to have several episodes of the Factorio podcast before it releases. The deal that we cut out, which is pretty good so far. Rain, we're going to do it live. We're going to always do it live. Rain gets the Twitch stuff. So if you he gets all the Twitch stuff. If you want to sub to this Factorio podcast, you will sub to Rain9441 to support him. You can follow him. I get the YouTube stuff.
Are you doing it on Rain's channel?
Yes, we do it. We do it live on Rain's channel. Don't raid just yet. Then I get the VOD and I post it to my YouTube channel.
Okay.
Good deal.
You get,
right?
you get
I want it. Rain wants to move into the Twitch thing a little more. I want to move into the YouTube a little bit more.
You're definitely getting the. I don't know. I guess if you guys are okay with it. The fact that you've worked out monetary things is a good sign for the podcast longevity, I would say.
Yes. And I also want because the Factorio podcast for me is a long-term play, right? I'm not looking for the short term. It's a long-term play. That's what I want.
Why don't I have a Terraria podcast?
Why don't you?
You know what you got me thinking there, Blakey Poo.
Yeah.
I could grab one of the boys.
You know what it should be called? Terraria podcast.
That way you know what should have
Google's Terraria podcast.
They'll get the Terraria podcast. We can put it up on Spotify. Since you know how to do that, I'll have you help with that.
Oh, easy breezy.
Yeah, apparently easy. Yeah.
Anchor FM, link to Spotify. It is a 30-minute process. You do it one time, it's always linked, and then you just upload to Anchor, and it automatically RSSs in it. And Spotify, and I have not logged into Spotify in over a month for this. I only shoot it to Anchor.
That's the kind of stuff I like. That type of integration is where it's at for me. That makes the workflow easy. So we're gonna do that. Lots of Factorio streaming because I have a week off. That just came off a week off. I am required to do another week off. I'm required to take a bunch of other vacation from my normal job. Okay. So I have 6 more working days in the next 2 weeks, and then I'm off for another week. Nice.
Coinciding with Factorio's release on August 14th, and then thereafter I will be streaming Factorio every day. A bunch of the day. We're going to be doing lots of Factorio as we do the 1.0. The other cool thing is out on my YouTube channel. I'll just tell you one other thing. I do an FFF review every Friday. So it's new player night, but we also look at the developer notes, which is called the Factorio Friday Facts. We look at that every Friday night, and we review it together. We do it live. Last night, I did it. I didn't have time to start up a stream and do it live. I got in super late. I posted it at 11 p.m. that night. One of the Factorio devs watched it and commented on it at my 3 a.m.
Nice.
Ding! They know I'm here. After 3 years, they know I exist.
That's interesting because that's about 9 a.m., 10 a.m. for him. So he woke up.
Yeah.
And then watched.
Saw my video.
That's exactly where you want to be hitting him, because then he could come back in the morning when he's waking up, taking his first poop of the day.
Yes.
Watching
Every
your
video I post, I schedule for midnight my time, which is early morning Europe, and that's what I start.
Really, you do 6 a.m.? Disagree on this.
Well, like something like that. Yeah. No, my midnight my time is
6 a.m.
for the Czech Republic is like 7, 8 a.m. Yeah.
So, sure, 7. I do my release is at noon CDT, 6 p.m. UK time.
I want the morning time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Morning Europe. Yeah. So they still won't put me in the FFF. They know I'm here. Anyway.
Do they put anything in the FFF?
Thank you very much for supporting all of the things that we do. It's super good to talk to my friend Badger about this. And
this was your cast, actually. I was really glad how this one went.
What I tell you off air, I said all you got to do is show up and laugh with me. That's it.
And I was more than content.
Next podcast, Allie Jane will be a special guest on here. We're going to talk to her about watch parties. We're going to talk to her about streaming.
Talk about Allie about it, because Allie's been doing a ton of different things. Allie's quite the innovator, honestly.
She's a bad mother trucker.
If you haven't looked
stuff
into
for the Wounded Warrior Project, which I'm super interested in, and it's wounded veterans. That's super great. She is a veteran herself, which I gravitate towards veterans as it were.
Apparently,
right? Yeah. And she's also a super good streamer, and she's got her head on straight, man. She walk it like she talk it. She got stuff going on.
We met Allie at PAX East Boston.
I think so.
Because that's where I did the panel for the second time I've done the panel, and she was in that panel.
Yes. So we are that is next week. So looking forward to that. So cool. That's all.
All right.
Take us out.
Stay motivated. That's the most important thing. If you're motivated, you can do anything. Stay awesome. You know you're awesome. You listen to this podcast. It makes you awesome in my book. And do us one favor. Wash your hands.
Wash your hands. See you guys.